Hey, and welcome to the podcast. Micah Derling here with you and my good... Okay, let me try that one more time. I mixed around the stuff.
Hey.
Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome to the I Hate Social Media podcast, the podcast where we dive deep into the chaotic world of social media marketing with a twist of irony and a dash of humor. So whether you love or hate social media, join us on this journey as we uncover the secrets to making it work for you. Hey, welcome to the podcast. Micah Derling here with my good friend, Zach Godwin. Zach, who are you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Zach Godwin, and I am one of the co-owners of MR Sterling Productions, and I hate social media. I'll give you credit for being the brains of the podcast, but I take full credit for the name.
That's right. Well, we'll get to that. Tell us first about those magical socks, because I'm looking over at them and I'm like, I'm wearing not that.
I'm very proud of my socks, and these were actually given to me from my mother-in-law.
Nice.
She was very proud of all the camera work and all learning all these things and becoming. So these are my camera socks. I felt they were appropriate.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned that I came up with the idea of doing the podcast. That is true, and I'll just kind of speak to that for a minute because I think one of the things that we want viewers and listeners to know is kind of what birthed that idea. What was the genesis in my mind that said, man, that this podcast needs to happen. And for me, I think it had a lot to do with just our own frustration with knowing we needed to do more on social media, but not knowing like what would work, what wouldn't work. There's just a lot out there, the $97 course that you can take that'll teach you all these things about social media, or some people are even offering like $1,000 plus. I mean, it goes up. If you really dig into learning about social media from different guys and different coaches or different girls, there are so many. And the money you could pour into learning about it, and you never know like which ones are authentic, which ones are worth following, and which ones are just kind of a lot of hype. And so for me, I'm like, why isn't there some source that is trustworthy, that's reliable? And I want you to speak to that too, just kind of the generation we're living in as far as that goes. But why can't there be someone that's transparent and open and trustworthy and saying, look, guys, this is what's really working for us. We'll use ourselves as an example, which is really what we're setting out to do here with Retro Media Digitizers. We have a digitizing company, and we want to learn apply what we learn here to that company and be able to come back and say, hey, guess what? This is how we've been promoting it on social media, and it's working. This is what works. This is what's been big for us, and these are the things that are not working. And so that really birthed the idea in my mind, like, I'm going to be the one. We are going to be the company that lays it out there, kind of, I say it half jokingly, but it is true, kind of exposing ourselves for the world to see and look at how our gizmo works, and let them know like how we apply these things.
Mm-hmm. I think that at the heart of the podcast is the heart of the beauty of it is the heart of the podcast is, I think, the same thing that ran this company, is this desire to appeal to voices that really weren't being heard. There's this, if Walmart has a marketing budget of $25 billion, that they can do whatever they want, or the super small company that has, just one person working for it, he's going to record something on his phone.
Right.
But so there was this void with people that, they are making it and they are doing great work. But there's not really that small medium, that schmedium business model wasn't really being appreciated. So I think that is kind of what MR Sterling built itself around, is giving the voices and making the people that felt, I can't make a video. I don't have $75,000 to spend. We said, no, let me show you what you can do. Let me show you what you can accomplish. And it means the world to them. And I think that that same idea came from, that same idea became the heart of this podcast. There are countless content creators, people trying to make it big, people that want to emulate their favorite content creators, or small business people that just really want to make something and provide for their families. But it's the, like it or hate it.
That's right.
That's the state of the world we live in, is if you're not marketing, if you don't have a presence and a brand, people aren't going to come to your donut shop.
Right.
And it's not like it used to be where you could just walk down the street and anticipate people coming and going. I mean, how many times do you go out to eat with someone, or hey, let's stop here after this, and then they take out their phone, they look at the menu, or they look at the social media posts, or and this is a point that will probably come up many times in this conversation, but I think we live in this generation where no one trusts anyone anymore.
Right.
It is everyone, you have to have this mentality that everyone's out to get you. And because you have to protect yourself, you know, the guy that knocks on your door, is he really from your cable company, or is he trying to sell you something?
Right.
Or the person that calls you on your phone. I mean, phones will tell you when there's people calling you that it's scam. It's just become such a way of our lives, is anticipating people trying to take our money.
That's right. If you're not the Amazon guy or an Uber, who are you?
I don't want to talk to you.
That's right.
Exactly. And so I think social media has become an absolute necessary in just appearing like a real person.
Right.
I mean, every day on my personal social media accounts, I get people like, "Oh, this person wants to follow you," and they're not real. They're a bot with some AI photo
that they think you're going to want to see.
Exactly. Like, follow this person that follows 10,000 people and has 0 followers.
That's right.
But you need social media to just appear like you are someone that is worth doing business with.
That's right. That's right. So tell us this. Where did the stroke of genius come from for naming? I think it's genius for naming the podcast.
I love this story. I love the conversation of when we first were talking about, you know, we had our team, and you came with this idea of, you know, I was so frustrated with these people trying to take my money. Why isn't there someone that is just giving an honest? Why isn't there someone that's just saying, hey, social media is hard, let's talk about it? And we were like, that's a great idea. We talked about it and going back and forth. And as someone that is like famously terrible at social media, I always say, like, my wife and I went to Rome for our 1-year anniversary, and I still haven't posted all the photos. I just you couldn't go to a more beautiful place, and I couldn't have a more beautiful wife. And I still haven't posted the photos, not because I don't want to. I can't get myself to do it.
Right.
Social media is hard. It's hard to have that mentality, and there's so much that it requires. Right? Is like, do you go out to dinner and just enjoy your dinner, or are you going to take photos of the food and post it? Or can you stay in the moment? Can you stay?
Because we've all seen these people.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's be honest. People fall to their death like doing selfies. So maybe there's a place where you shouldn't be doing some of the posting.
It's incredible, and all this ties into the frustration of it, because you need it, but there's this grimy, dirty side of social media that it's this barrier of entry. Like, you know, we were on a vacation in Watkins Glen in New York, one of the most beautiful state parks I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. And walking in front of us on this beautiful place were 2 people with selfie sticks recording themselves, and it takes you out of it.
It does.
And so that's the I hate social media side. And we were going back and forth telling these stories and kind of commiserating. And I remember throwing out there, like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if it was called, like, I hate social media?
There it is.
And then I came in and I saw that sign. I was like, that's it.
Oh man, yeah, I do like it. But
I love the name, because I think it conveys that immediate, like, oh, social media is great. Like, we all roll out of bed and we just scroll through posts and we waste our time.
Yeah.
But for all of that and all that complaining, it is such an amazing thing. It is probably the best marketing connection thing that humankind's ever created.
I think that's fair.
Where you can, it's beautiful that anyone can make it anymore.
That's right.
Like, I mean, it still requires hard work, still requires luck, a lot of it, but anyone, I think we saw this a lot in COVID in 2020, where people were stuck at home. You know, I think all of us, like, said, you know, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to sit here and eat all day or not do anything. But then there are the people that said, you know, I'm just going to sing into my microphone. I'm going to record myself walking through my park and just talk. And those people today, 4 years later, are huge. They have sponsorships and they have deals and they're making it.
That's right.
And if that doesn't make you want to create, nothing will.
I think that's true. It's to me, it's always been about equality of access. anybody, and listen, you're right. There's a good amount of luck involved in all of these things. But the truth of the matter is, I still think that there's principles involved that can help you get down the road, right? And so I want to believe that if a company's willing to do the work, put out good quality content, and they're kind of willing to, I'm going to say the word play by the rules, because I don't even know what the rules are, and I think that goes back to the frustration. Mm-hmm. But if you're willing to play by the rules, you can get a long way down the road. You might not be the person with 30 million followers on whatever, but you can have a good, solid following of people that really are interested and care about what you do. Mm.
Yeah. And that's the whole reason we're here. The whole reason we're here is because a social media, I mean, anything, it could be the most beautiful thing in the world. You could put everything you have into something, but if no one's viewing it,
right,
what is it? And that is such a frustration for a lot of our career paths, a lot of video people. I mean, we spent all of these time making these amazing videos, but how many of those video companies have 2 million followers?
That's right.
How many people are scrolling through their feeds and looking forward to seeing what their local video company is putting on social media?
Not that many.
That's
right.
We would like more.
We would like more.
We have very nice pages. You should follow them.
You should check them out. That's right.
We work very hard.
We do.
But
I think that's true. So let's talk about early on when you and I when we first started sitting down and kind of hashing some of these things out. What were some of the things that we did well, or what were some of the roadblocks, things that we bumped into?
I think that we've talked about this a lot recently. This the biggest thing that we've learned, roadblock, hurdle that went into all of this was I come from a very cautious world, and I think this partly my generation, maybe upbringing, whatever it is, nature, nurture. But I think that a lot of people of my generation have this mentality of, if it's not going to be perfect the first time I do it, if I'm not going to, pick up a tennis racket and then go all the way with it, why would I even pick up the tennis racket?
Right.
And I think that it's such a bad mentality. But I think that was fell into the podcast. Okay, if we're going to do the podcast, then we're going to do things exactly by the book. We're going to follow all the things I've learned from social media. You have to have a binge amount, because people like to binge, and you have to make sure you have everything set up, and everything has to be perfect. And that isn't how we went. Isn't how we did things.
How we do things, Zach? How did we end up doing things?
We went very quickly into the fire.
Would you say we went too fast?
I think I would say perhaps we went a little too fast on the first go around.
So yeah, it's true. So this is great, because it's a learning curve, I think, for us both. There is moving at the speed of business, and we all understand that. But the flip side of it is moving at the speed of reasonableness. And you've got to be able to manage expectations and say, look, I mean, at the end of the day, for us, this is an add-on. I think it's important, and I think what we're doing matters. But it can't come at the expense of what we do, right? Our actual business, which is video production, photography, and those things. And unfortunately, I think I pushed so hard that we were trying to get out episodes, scrambling to get guests. It just was it was messy, and it didn't necessarily have to be. So I think there's a balance to lessons learned, that it's okay to push forward and do less than perfect. What's not always so great is pushing forward so hard that everybody has to then take time out from their core job and focus more energy than should have been required for something that's not core.
Yeah. And honestly, it's very fitting with the nature of this podcast and all that, and us, making the mistakes for you, for the people listening and watching.
I mean, that's why we do it. We do it for the audience.
Exactly.
I mean, we love you guys, and we're willing to lay it down for you.
I'm willing to take the hit so that your business is better.
That's right.
Just don't forget me when your business succeeds.
That's so good. I think that's right.
But yeah, it was absolutely every member of our team. We all came together. And it was a learning moment on everyone's behalf on this. Could we stop, slow down, and make our lives easier in the future with more work in this moment? Like, do we work now so that in 3 weeks we're better off, or do we just take off running so that in 3 weeks we're exhausted? There is a lesson there, but there's also a lesson to not. And you said this in the first episode, and it's become one of my catchphrases to people, is like to not let perfect get in the way of good. And I think that is something that myself and my generation is very easy to do. Like, why would I do it if it's not perfect?
Right.
Why would I make this podcast if I am not a professional podcaster?
Right.
It's recursive. It doesn't make any sense.
That's true. We're getting to be professional as we go.
We are. And that's the beauty of it.
It's super weird, but I mean, for me, I kind of get a little geeked out, giddy, to kind of look at this and think about where this came from, just from a concept. I mean, even the design of the studio, of the podcast studio itself, like a lot of that was from my kids, which, you know, they're Gen Zers, or Gen Alpha. We talked about this. I think it's split. The oldest is Gen Z, and then the rest are all Gen Alpha.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I heard it said once that the differentiating between generations is not year based. It's if you have downloaded TikTok or not. and I have not downloaded TikTok, so okay. I am on the other side of that.
So I think there are some dads who will know what I mean when I say I downloaded TikTok just so I could see what my kids were doing, and then it swiftly became, you're all getting off TikTok.
Yeah.
You are not doing this.
No, this is a lawless wasteland.
It is terrible. I mean, I
cannot abide by this.
I think maybe there'll come a place in the time, we're just not there yet, where we'll probably have to do some stuff on TikTok. But right now, it's like my kids are not going to be on TikTok.
It's crazy.
It is. A lawless wasteland.
But that is a whole conversation.
It's a whole.
Right? Is what
I think you said it right there. It's a whole. No, sorry, go ahead.
It is where are you posting? And
yeah.
that is kind of like one of the first questions you have to ask yourself on what medium. Because I think they kind of, the colors kind of blend together when you look at them, right? And what Instagram is owned by Facebook now, so it's all the same, right? Well, no, not really.
That's right.
There's differences for a reason, and there's just the change in the landscape now that vertical media is what it is has completely changed our line of work.
That's right.
We only thought in horizontal.
That's right.
And now having to make things vertically, it changes how you shoot, it changes how you edit, it changes how you advertise.
And how much I hate it.
And how much we hate it.
Oh, man. When you get so used to being able... just having two people on the screen at the same time, vertical is not conducive to that.
No.
But you got to make it work, and so now you're doubling the cuts. And
I look forward to seeing the reel that we make, where it's us bouncing back and forth.
That's what it's going to be.
It being vertical, because it is.
Because it is. Yeah.
Hey, editor, it's me. Now it's him. Now it's me. Now it's him.
No, it's me. We're so cruel. Oh man, got to make sure you have a good editor. That's for sure.
Exactly.
So, how do we decide on guests? What's our modus operandi for guests?
So the guests have
gotta have at least 1 million followers,
at
right?
Least. So the appeal of the podcast, I think, was self-evident, right? Is everyone what's everyone's favorite topic? Themselves. Mm-hmm. And so who doesn't want to come out here and promote themselves and what they've done? I think that was kind of what we started with. Right. And going through, we figured, obviously you start at home. You start with the people with the people you've made connections with. Mm-hmm. And I was shocked by how many people in my life have done amazing things in their own businesses or their social media accounts and their brands. I guess I just, know them as them. And
when we first came to this, you looked at me and you're like, you're a connected guy. Of course, you know people.
Yeah. You're baked into this area and everyone loves you and you love everyone. You're a household name. I could never compete with that.
Yeah.
But
I'm a household name in my household.
The name is you.
That's right. Dad. So, yeah.
So, but going through, I was really appreciative of the people in my life that have, you look at them, you're like, whoa, you have 2,000 followers. Like, that's a lot of people that signed up. Because that's not just your friends and family.
No, you've gone beyond now.
Exactly. Yeah. Like one of the people that I will put on the spot here is I was looking through and I was like, my barber. Like, I was like, you have thousands of people that that sign up and you're posting these photos of the cuts and the clean and all that. Cool. And you're like perfection imagery that matters because you're going to get your hair cut. You're going to look for a guy you see. Oh, he has thousands of followers. He has all his shots look great. So Cisco, I'm calling you out. I anticipate you being on this podcast.
There you go. Come talk to me. You can cut my hair while we do the podcast.
I've been waiting. I've been growing it out a little bit. It's gonna be
That's
funny.
good. That's
It's gonna be
good.
funny. I'm gonna tell him like, hey, you should look up this podcast, and he's gonna get to this part.
That's so good.
But there's way more people in my life than I thought. People that that I'm friends with personally, or that I know are family members, but people that we've done business with.
Yeah, that's right.
That we do business or we meet in passing, and you just kind of you never write people off, but you just like, okay, you put them in the Rolodex, or you just say that was a nice time meeting this person. But now we're able to utilize that connection,
right,
and to say, hey, you've made this brand and you've done this. Would you want to talk? Would you come on the podcast?
And it's impressive. I think, you've said like, if somebody's got 1,000 followers or 2,000 followers, that's more than their friends and family. Like, they have worked hard, and there are people that are interested in what they're doing, and they've figured out how to kind of grow that through what they do. I think those are people worth talking to. Even if you don't have to have 1 million followers. If you're doing something, you've got several thousand or whatever, man, you did something to produce that.
Absolutely. I think that's so, that deserves to be appreciated.
Yeah, I think so.
And I feel like if you have created that, if you're working towards that, and you put, if you are giving your all, if you're giving everything to the social media, you have the color scheme picked out, and you have the brand, and you know what you want to be. That's amazing.
Yep.
That is so much of the battle right there.
It's funny. We actually want to have guests on too that have completely bombed. So really, I mean, at the end of the day, the kind of guest that we're looking for is pretty broad. So if you have anything north of like 1 subscriber,
we do ask that you have the one. But seriously,
I mean, if you've totally bombed, like, and you're willing to talk about it, I realize what position that puts somebody in. Like, it can be a little awkward saying, yeah, I tried to do a thing and it just totally blew up. I still want to talk to you. I think there are business owners out there that want to hear from you. They want to understand like what went through your mind and how that went. These are all stories that are important to tell. So if that's you, man, give us a call. Let us know. We want to have you on. We want to talk it through because man, there have been so many people that are probably in your shoes, that just would like the encouragement of hearing like, yep, I did this thing and it was completely wrong, and I had to fix it.
And I think that it's not just other small businesses that have failed social media or have decided even that maybe this isn't where we put our money, our eggs, our time, because something that you mentioned, that we have this Retro Media Digitizers, this media digitizing company that we're very excited about, that we rolled out. And in the preparation for doing it, obviously, talking about you need to have the social media presence in order to look like
a thing,
like you're real, right?
Yeah, that's right.
People aren't going to trust you, especially not with their decaying photos and videos of their the grandparents. They're not going to give you that just if you're just a person off the street.
No, this is like back in 2000 when you had to have a website. You've got to have a social media presence. If you don't, I mean, it's sus. I mean, people are looking at you like, are they real? Is that a real business even? Yeah.
Exactly. That's something that we learned, and it was eye-opening in a way. It was very strange, is the big names in digitization, which I will not say because I want you to contact Retro Media Digitizers.
Do they even exist? I mean, I don't know. We don't have any competitors at all.
They don't have a podcast.
No.
But the really big names in digitizing, we noticed they've kind of largely given up putting into consistent posting. And you can go back and see that they were very consistent, and the brands were there and the colors were there, but like they have hundreds of thousands of followers and probably millions of customers every year, but they were getting 10 likes, 12 likes on a photo. They weren't seeing that. So I think that when you start uncovering those things, and a lot of these companies they haven't posted since last year or the year before, and because they've moved on or they've readjusted their social media presence and what it looks like. And I think that makes it so much more accessible to a person that's saying like, well, I only get 5 likes on my post. Well, 5 likes can still be strong. You can still use that to angle your social media presence, or how you want to tackle social media. Not everyone's going to be getting the hundreds of thousands of followers.
No, that's exactly right. And you don't have to. I don't know if you said that before or not, but in my head, I'm just remembering you talking about that. Like when it comes to like us, production companies, there aren't, at least not, I'm aware, I'm not following any production companies that have like 2 million followers.
No.
Which if you're looking at YouTube, 2 million followers isn't even that big a deal.
No.
I mean, there's, 30 million, 60 million, 100 million followers.
Exactly.
Billion, if you're Mr. Beast, I guess. So anyway, but all that to say, in order to be successful on social media or with social media, it's really not about having like umpteen million followers. It's about having enough of an impact and people just seeing what you're about. I don't know what the number is. I mean, what is it? What would be great for a company like us if we had 50,000? That would be probably pretty awesome.
I'd take it.
We're not going to say no.
We're not going to say no if you're giving them out.
If you're giving them out.
But yeah, it's about the connections, and it's about appearing like you can back up what you're selling to these people.
That's right.
That, if you trust me to make a video for you in your business or to digitize your precious family heirlooms, that you can go on the social media presence and see that there is a professionality.
Yeah.
There are people that have worked on this, that they spend money on this to appear, and that they're trustworthy.
Yeah, that's right.
And that goes such a big way, because you can't just depend on any business, whether you're giving food, whether you're a record store, whatever it is. You cannot just depend on people finding you.
No, that's right.
If you liquidize your assets and drain your 401k to start whatever shop you want, I'm so glad you did it. I'm so glad that the American dream is still alive and well. But if you don't back it up with a social media presence or some kind of marketing like that, it's not going to work.
No, because there are people out there that they are interested in what you're doing and your business and the service you provide or the product you're selling. That's almost inevitably true. But if they don't know you're there,
exactly,
it's not a question of whether you have a good service or good product at that point. People just don't even know you exist, which is actually my favorite thing about social media. It's the reason I don't truly hate it. There's a dark underbelly of social media. There's a lot of yuck, and we talked about some of that. There's a lot of yuck. But the flip side of it is, for whether you are a business, a for-profit business, or a non-profit business, there's an opportunity where it's a level playing field, and you now have access to into the world of ideas, so to speak. And people can find out that you're there, that you exist, and that you're doing this great thing, that you have something to offer. And that's exciting. And ostensibly, it can be free. Like, there's no, like, getting into Instagram or onto Facebook or into LinkedIn or some posting content. There's no cost to any of that. I mean, I understand boosting and all of those things, but if you have great content and people can latch onto it, start seeing it and sharing it and those sorts of things, you can do big things with $0. And that's what I want. That's what I want to be able to say. Okay, so how do you do that? And I want to be able to look people in the eye and say, okay, like, if you were going to do the top 5 things that we have seen, and here's my long term, I guess, and we'll talk more about this down the road, I'm sure. But I have this kind of dream/vision thing where, like, a year from now, or maybe 2 years from now, we take everything that we've learned in that time span and just distill it down and say, look, if you are a small business, if you're just starting out and saying, I have no budget, here are the top 5 things. Here's the top 10 things that you need to do in the next 3 to 6 months to get your business off the ground on social media. It's not a guarantee for success. What it would be, I think, is the most reasonable, because some of it's just being lucky. It just is. It's always going to be. Yep. There's just providence involved in all of that, and things are going to be what they're going to be at the end of the day. But as far as it is up to you, here are the 10 things that you can do that are going to make the biggest difference. I want to say that. I want to know what that is.
Absolutely. Something that you've said a lot that I think is very, very wise is that concerning social media, you, and by you meaning anyone that has a product or a brand that they're trying to sell, you have to be willing to give things away for free on social media in order to get people to want to visit you, to have your services. And I think you're seeing that a lot with a lot of visual art, like photography on social media is incredible, because you have a lot of people come to mind of these creators that started showing, like, hey, this is how you pose. Hey, does your boyfriend take bad photos of you? This is how you should have him pose. And then people see that, and that goes crazy viral.
Right.
So then you've given away some of your knowledge for free. But in return, the acclaim or the community you build and the people that are going to notice you, that are going to see you, and they're going to fly to your studio to get to get you to take photos of them because of what they've seen. And that's what separates you.
That's brilliant. In fact, it's so brilliant. I'm starting to wonder, like, even with like retro media digitizers, maybe we should be doing some kind of a, free photo repair, like weekly thing that we just do. And we show us doing it. You know what I mean? What about that? Like a time lapse of us fixing a photo. I think that could be really cool.
Oh, yeah. I think that the tangibility of seeing processes, people love it. They love to see the peek behind the curtain. They love to see
and
how
providing value, right? Like you were talking about the photographer, the artist, delivering content that has value. So like I'm giving something of mine away to you for free. And so you're getting something for nothing. And hopefully that develops, I think, trust, rapport, that kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
That might be an idea.
Might be an idea. That's what this is for.
That's right. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about, we got a 5-minute thing. We got a 5-minute warning. We're at 30 minutes, so we're going to have to cut it off.
We're going to cut it off.
We need a part 2.
We do.
I don't think we didn't even get so I have our questions or whatever, our content broken out into part 1 and part 2. We didn't even get through part 1.
Just us old men sitting around talking about the weather.
That's right. One of these days it's gonna anyway. Guys, we'll catch you next time. It was our privilege and pleasure to be here to share some of these things with you. And I hope for you, just kind of getting a little quick peek behind the curtain for us is helpful, that it does provide the value that we're talking about, something for free. And you get to see a little bit about our heart, what we really, really, really want. And again, there's no financial benefit to doing this. We obviously want to learn ourselves. That's our benefit, but we hope that along the way, you benefit with us. So we'll catch you next time.